And long term, you know, we want those guys. We want to talk to them. We want to fight with them. And if we can, we want to rescue them, of course, because then we'll have good relations with them and they can be part of our empire down here. So there's Unquid right there. Well, we're not trying to become a vassal yet, but I do want to become an Aserai. Let's, what do we do here? Let's dump some of these nobles off. We got to continue to keep our funds going. We got to get on the ocean soon. We got to get married. We got a lot of accomplished. I don't know if we're going to do it all in this episode, but let's just go ahead and start an episode here. We're going to be able to get married. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. You are watching the Bannerlord 1.5. We are playing the closed beta. If you're watching this, more than likely the 1.5 is live, and it's a terrific update patch, right? This is a major update to Bannerlord. Some of the most changes and best changes, I think, of any patch so far. And we are progressing towards becoming a Bedouin empire, right? We're going to be enacting a Bedouin rebellion, Bedouin uprising here in the south with Khazad and his band of trusty mates. And notice the troops that we're using. We are doing a bandit and miner clan playthrough. We're not going to use any traditional troops. Now, there's a bunch of different things that we're doing in this campaign to make it unique. There's a lot of campaigns on YouTube to watch. Why do you want to watch this one? Well, it's going to be brutally difficult, number one. Let's talk about that first. We're using the invasion option under the alternate starting options that come with 1.5. This is not an aberration here. This is how the game basically started. This campaign is not very old. We are using fast mode, so the years are flying by, even though we haven't been playing that long. And the Khazate start with most of this territory, and one of the best parts, of course, is that the Khazate start with all these extra nobles, right, which gives them a huge amount of firepower. All these clans work for Manchug, right? So it's a gnarly campaign from that perspective. And just to make it saltier, we're going to play as a bandit overlord and not use any traditional troops, right? We have a bunch of prisoners that we're going to turn into influence, right? We're going to go to a prison and sell these guys because we need money, obviously, for this campaign, but we're not going to use those troops in battle. Now, there's also huge bandit parties, and this is going to be an advantage. Early on here, it's been actually something difficult to tackle because the bandit forces we're facing are huge. And, you know, it's a real threat here. In fact, we better make sure we have we do every upgrade here. We just gathered up a bunch of looters as prisoners. So we've almost got the same amount of troops as this force we're fighting here. And we have some prisoners to recruit, but honestly, I don't think we're going to need them. This force, you know, it's Bedouin rovers and nomad bandits, but the Bedouin rovers don't have shields. And I think those guys, especially with some tactics, of course, you're watching Tactical Enlightenment, we should be able to dispose of these guys pretty quickly here. Our main character, of course, Khazad, is the biggest Aserai unit ever created. Of course, he's essentially a maxed out character size. He's kind of a replication of Wazoo. Anybody who watched the Aserai campaign are going to enjoy watching this big guy blunder his way through battle. And in reality, we're going to turn him into a beast, right? He's already got some pretty good stats. We need more companions. For a long time there, we were emerged in the Khazate territory trying to pick up forest bandits. And I think we got about 40 or 50 forest bandits, or more accurately, forest bandit type units, 38 forest bandits, right? That's going to be very essential for us to continue to win battle. And we have been ripping battles, right? We have won literally 15 battles, give or take, against Khazate nobles. All right, so we have piled up the influence and gold. Now we've got to cash in on it, right? We need a wife, we need a boat, and let's stop talking you to death here and do some fucking combat. You guys are here for action, not to listen to some old dude talk. Okay, boomer. Now we got some archers, we got some infantry. We're still going to use some layer of tactics here. We've got the RTS mod, so I can kind of speed through things here, and we want the left side. That's going to be something you see constantly. You're going to see me try to put troops to the left, and that is because a lot of the units we're facing have javelins like us, and it's basically a race to get to this left side, because whoever gets to the left side is going to do a better and more effective job of circling. They can throw javelins forward, but it's much more effective, as I get drilled, it's much more effective to throw them your left to your right? So our guys here are kind of lumbering up, taking forever. And now we charge, right? Now that we're on this side, in fact, I'm going to bring them even further over here. Right now they can start to charge. And hopefully yield pretty good results. Now, this is the Bedouin rovers are going to be just gravy for us, right? Because these guys don't even have shields. So we can put our infantry division over here on the side. No reason for our infantry to suffer. Archers are raining down here. And even though the power bar was kind of close, I'll be surprised if we suffer 10 casualties here. We're just going to be able to scorch these helpless. They're wearing like a bathrobe, and they got a sling. And we've got lethal javelin throwers, and now we've got some force bandits to boot. The infantry could charge as our jav-cav circle. And you're going to see me at the end of battles like this. I'm going to hit a little button to make the battle end quickly, right? It's this button here, and the battle just finishes quickly. It's going to be a way for us to show you tactics and show you battles, and yet do so in a hurry. We had only 2 deaths and 9 injured, and this is nice, right? The upgrades continue to pour in, and of course our character and companions are getting stronger quickly. We'll talk about companions from time to time, but we're not going to spend 20 minutes every other episode, right? Occasionally we'll talk about, you know, we got this other guy who does Jav cavalry. We've got this other gal. She's going to be a foot skirmisher, etc. All right. Influence is piling up. We're getting like 6,000 a day. We're getting 10,000 a day, right? We're getting paid a lot for our influence. That's partly because the Western Empire is desperate. So I think there's not a huge hurry here for me to join Unquid, right? We're gonna be able to get married soon. And when they're raiding a village, you can't talk to them anyways. I don't want to join the Asurai as a vassal. I do want to join as a mercenary, but I want to try to cash in these lords, number 1. And number 2, I want to get married, right? So we want to sell some of this loot. Marriage is expensive. Typically, you know, to get married, your mail order brides in Bannerlord, it's like 40, 50,000, right? So we want some money for that. We're going to help this guy here. This is great. This is one of the Gilman, right? So even though he doesn't need our help, the AI doesn't realize that, right? It doesn't factor it in very well. He's like, thank you so much. I'll remember that forever. Okay. He's in our debt. That's even though he didn't need us at all. He's thrilled that we just ass jammed his fight, and that's going to help us later get him into the clan. We're probably going to roll with whatever minor clans we can get once we get to the independent stage. And let me just back up and say we're definitely going to enter the independent stage in this kingdom, right? For a while, of course, we're going to be a mercenary, a good little mercenary and a good little vassal. But once we have maybe 1 million gold and a force of several hundred bandits, we're going to go independent and cause carnage. Of course, we're going to try to declare peace with everybody except, obviously the Khazate, right? We're going to be at war with the Khazate like everybody else. Oh, shit. See, I'm going to do that sometimes by accident, too. You're going to see me accidentally basically try to recruit troops. It's like built into my nature as a Bannerlord player. Let's buy some horses. Let's see if they have any nice gear here. They do, right? They've got some really nice armor. I'll take both of these, right? 20. That's pretty cheap, too. So your lordly and legendary armor, bye-bye, right? Every time you see, especially tier 4 and above, early in a campaign, you don't have heaps of money. And so anytime you see affordable gear, usually with the legendary moniker, you want to at least observe it to see if it's something that's worthwhile to add to your army. If it's like legendary something arrows, I always buy it because at some point or other, you're probably going to have a use for it. Legendary boots and stuff like that, it's just, to me, it's just an automatic buy. So the easy way to do it also is just to search by name, and then you can just go down to legendary, right, and just take a scan. None of these things are worth it, but a lot of times that's a good way to find stuff at stores. Now, I don't want to actually spend a bunch of money here. I actually want them to give us money because we need ships too, right? We're going to have to get on the water in this campaign. And looks like we don't have quite enough equipment here. Huh. Well, we need more money than this. Let me think. Capacity exceeded. Let's keep selling shit here. If we're encumbered on land, that means we're going to be seriously encumbered on ships. And the horses are going to be a problem too. Let's sell these horses. They didn't give us hardly anything for that shit. Do we have any expensive? Here we go. We got some expensive cavalry armor. This is a really nice piece of cavalry armor, but we can't afford it, right? They're going to give us a huge amount of money for that. Sold, right? We're definitely, we're still in the bargain basement part of this campaign, right? We're not gonna buy or waste money on stuff that helps us a little tiny bit. Now 30, we get 10,000. See if there's any other shit here. Loose and broken and damaged. I don't think we're gonna do crossbow at all. I'm doing this because boats are expensive, right? We got to break out another 1,000 here to buy some boats. We're not going to be able to get it all the way down. And we've got a bunch of food, I think, too. Yeah, let's sell some of this shit. Our troops are all going to get obese if we're not careful. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, we can go... Actually, let's go get married. Right, we can get married, I think, even as part of the Western Empire. We're still getting paid quite a bit with the mercenary contract, so I'm not eager to exit the mercenary contract quite yet. Maybe by the time we find Unquid, it'll make sense for us to exit it, right? Or to exit it, right? We're getting 5,000-6,000 a day, 6,000, right? I don't know where Unquid went. We can probably follow the smoking villages here. Now, right now, we're at war with the Khazate, right? And I would bet the Aserai are also at war with the Khazate, right? That's basically how the map looks, right? The diplomatic situation is basically everybody is at war with the Khazate because of how dominant they are in the map here. And it's interesting. Both of our employers here, prospective employers, are at war. Or more accurately, are allied here. Where's this guy at? Beersif. They did adjust this, by the way, for people who find it frustrating to find people in Bannerlord. They made it easier for you to use. In fact, he's probably right here. What they did is they made it, so I think they made it so that the encyclopedia updates a little bit more often, right? A lot of times it would say he's near Beersif and he's nowhere near there. The idea was that, you know, you don't have real-time satellite data with Bannerlord, but I think they've made it a lot more like real-time satellite data, right? Where if you see a leader and it says he's there, generally you're going to be able to find him easier based on that encyclopedia. And I'm here to deliver our demands right now. We want to discuss something else. Yeah, let's see. You got any ladies here? How much? Right? She's pleasant looking and good stats, right? She's not a great warrioress, but we'll take her. So very good. How much money do you need? Right? 82 grand. That's a lot for a wife, but I guess we're going to make money. You got to spend money to make money. She'll help us kill. And as usual, right, we get married on the channel transparently. 7-foot hulking muscle with a giant killer afro. She's definitely, she knows what she's getting into in this marriage, right? It's definitely going to be fully transparent. Communicate from the outset. And we're still getting deserters, but we're keeping our core of elite bandits here. Notice we have one of each boss. I wasn't able to acquire any force bandit bosses, but we have a boss from the other bandits, right? And that's from getting hideouts and then eventually recruiting them as prisoners. So we're eventually going to be able to get this skill, this roguery skill. In fact, we're close. In fact, I need to deposit some of these prisoners into a town. And then eventually we also need this perk. Arr, the top one there. Surrendering pirate parties can be recruited, right? When we go out on the water, we're going to want to do that because that'll allow us to pick up sea raiders. And of course, we're going to need a lot of troops in this campaign, no matter what they are, whether they're bandits or not, right? Of course, we're going to stick to bandits, but we're going to be facing huge Khazate forces here. In fact, let's see if they're sieging anywhere. A lot of times you can spy and see kind of what enemy armies, what enemy armies are in the field, right? And my brow furrowed a little bit as I looked at that. I was trying to figure out what the hell is that. But if you look at the bottom there in red, it says Khazate, right? Even though Caladog is leading this Khazate army. And that is because, again, the Khazate, not only do they have this territory, but it simulates they have subjugated most of these leaders, right? Regea, I think, is part of the Khazate. Obviously, Caladog, I would imagine Lucan. I think we looked already. And that's obviously gives them a huge amount of resources to attack, right? So there's going to be big Khazate armies pushing towards Aserai territory here. And we've almost used up this this mercenary contract here, right? We can make friends with Unquid. We can help him out here. This is basically an automatic. Every time you have an easy battle where you can just swing in from behind and they think you're great, right? And you can get some free shit with virtually no consequences. I think you just always want to do that. The relation alone is good. And I think we mentioned it, but we're doing the auto saves on shorter intervals. There are some areas of the map that seem to be a little bit unstable. Again, it's worth reminding you, we're playing the beta here. So this is not the final version of Bannerlord, so to speak. Looks like he's going out on the ocean. Actually, this is gathering an army here. Now, these are littered throughout the map of Calradia, and they're exactly what they say they are. The aftermath of the Battle of Medeni, right? So we can either help the wounded or we can look for loot, right? Well, we're a bandit right now. We also can't use a lot of the troops, and this is nice gear, right? We just got like 5,000 gear, 5,000 dinars from just searching the ruins there, right? That's gravy for us here. And I think now is fine since he's right here. Let's join the Asurai as
I agree to.
wait, I gotta do this first. We gotta go leave this kingdom. I don't think this will hurt our reputation. And now we talk to the army leader. We'd like to, my friend, we'd like to enter service, right? How much? 590, right? This is a juicy mercenary contract. Part of that, of course, is that a lot of these kingdoms are desperate. They don't have a lot of resources except gold. And so I find that you tend to get some pretty juicy mercenary contracts. All right, so let's hit the water. What's Unquid going to do, right? We're going to observe that, but your freedom in war sales and Bannerlord is on the water here. And let's do this too. We want to choose the prisoners. We are occasionally going to take normal troops prisoner because I get roguery from this, right? I thought we get roguery from doing that. We're going to, maybe you got to do lords this way, but we're going to at least get gold occasionally from doing this. And, you know, you guys are going to have to, guys and gals are going to have to forgive me here. Occasionally we are going to accidentally, you know, recruit, I don't know, a Nord marksman into our army, and I'll forget about it for 3 battles. You know, it's not a normal way to play. We're basically choosing to play with an intentional handicap. And so a little bit of forgiveness I'm sure you guys will offer when we make mistakes. Let's sell even more shit here. It's going to weigh us down once we hit the water. In fact, let's make sure we don't have, you got to sort of have light rations on the water. And by the way, there's historical relevance and practicality to this, especially in this time era, right? 900 a year, 1,000. Ships very rarely sailed for days and days away from the shore, and that's because they needed water more than anything. You have to remember, a lot of times they were relying on dudes on an oar, right? You know, rowing all day, which is very hard work. You're out in the sun, you're sweating, it's hot as hell, and there's stinking guys next to you that have never had a bath. And so you're dehydrated, right? You need tons of water. Hence, normally they would kind of sail near the water, near the shore, rather, to make sure they could get some water. Now, we don't have a ship yet, so hopefully we can buy something nice here. And they do have some nice ships here. This one even has a ballista already on it. Yes, please. I'd like a couple of those, right? And see what else they have here. They've got these giant ships too. A golden rook. Not sure what that word means. We'll take it. I think we can. How much money do we have? 290. I think we can take 2 of these big boats, or maybe 1 medium boat. Where's that ballista boat? Right here. Yeah. We'll take these 2 boats. Let's take these 2, and then we'll try to get one of those little. Which one has a lot of cargo? These guys, the Sambuk. Some of these boats have more cargo right there. I think this is the one. Yeah. So I like bringing one of these ships along because it helps you carry tons of cargo. So I got 2 warships, and then we've got basically, you know, a container ship coming behind us here. So we got to buy. We just spent most of our money. It's a big gamble here. Of course, if we get captured at sea, we're kind of screwed. And don't forget, the Khazate are probably going to be in the ocean, right? Because obviously, the Khazate are everywhere in this campaign, right? When you wander around the ocean, there's going to be big shit out there. And it's worth mentioning also that the bandits are enhanced at sea as well, right? So we're very likely to face some big bandit armies. And I think we just kind of roam near the shore here. I definitely want to see what Unquid's army does. Look for targets of opportunity. I think we're going to do okay on the water. We've got a nice mix of basically archers and skirmishers, which tends to do very well on the water. Now, they're not mariners, right? We don't have a bunch of sea raiders. So we need to find some sea raiders, right? So one of the things, we need roguery. Let's keep pushing. Let me think. Let's push our mariner skill here a little bit. In fact, let's do both of them on there. And let's keep pushing. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to save that point. I don't think we have any mariners here, although she might be. No, she's not a mariner either. Oh, you know what? Wait. We got a mariner. This guy is a mariner. He's also going to be our bosun, right? So let's go in here and you can specialize these roles. This guy's definitely going to be our first mate and navigator. Where's this guy, right? And they show you the perks here. It's great. You got to kind of wait for it to scroll. Reminds me of those fucking, excuse me, those stupid car doors where you hit the button and they open in like 2 minutes. Man, it's like, you call that good technology? Like, why would somebody want a car door where I got to have a novel and lean against my hot burning car in the sun so that my car door that opens electronically takes 26 seconds to open? My wife's car door does that, and I don't think it's operating optimally, we'll call it, but it drives me crazy that it just takes forever, right? And of course, I have a very similar car, and my hatch flies open, right? Anytime I want to open it, it opens. Well, here's our target here, right? The problem is they're probably faster than us or about the same speed. So all we have to do, or at least what we have to do here, as things are happening below deck, is corner these ships. And it looks like maybe as we get closer to shore, they're having issues speed-wise here. So I'd prefer a little daylight. We're just going to let them have a epileptic fit here against the shore before we have our first naval battle of this campaign. And, you know, I'm a little paranoid because we did have a crash earlier. I am going to save right here. And you guys will just have to trust me, or not, that we're not save scumming. You'll probably see us captured in this campaign. And hopefully that's good enough evidence that we're not trying to save scum for whatever people save scum for. All aboard, right? And they're giving up here. This is interesting. Huh. I think let's fight this first battle here. We've got a ballista, so that's going to help our character get all kinds of levels. And you know, our first battle, I want to see what our ships look like here. Obviously, if they're willing to surrender, it's not going to be a real battle. It's not going to be a hard battle. But honestly, I think most campaigns, you still want to fight your first couple naval battles, even if they're surrendering, like this, right? Just to see what you're up against, see what you have, right? See what your ships are capable of, right? I think we have the ballista boat. I want to have the ballista boat because the ballista with the player controlling it is dominating. Both of these boats have ballistas. So we have two big boats, a little tiny boat, and then a whole bunch of people who are getting seasick. None of our characters here have any mariner skill, but they're going to start to get it, right? So we can hit ready here and charge. And again, fortunately for you folks, right? Fortunately for everybody, I can hit this button and look how fast it goes, right? Because we have it's like 9x or something. In fact, I can set it here. Where's this shit? It's one of these buttons. Here we go. Fast forward speed. Let's make fast forward like 4 times. That way I can kind of control it. And they're not fire pop ballistas, which is what I would prefer. But this is kind of like shotgun spray fire ballistas, right? This is going to be quite effective, especially if I'm patient here. Inflicted a bunch of damage. As long as our troops don't get in the way, we're going to be able to rack up some skill points and, of course, blast the enemy into next week. Corsairs are going to be interesting also to have in our army, right? We're going to be recruiting heavily from these guys. Now, I think our ballista guy freaked out and ran away, so nobody's mounting on the ballista here. I don't want to get killed. And these pirates, they look like they're trying to flee. Our ballista is that direction. And, you know, all of this combat. Oh, by the way, there's new features here. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. I haven't had the opportunity to talk about it. You can actually now cut the lines. As they throw lines on you, you can run around your boat and actually cut those lines. And then, of course, you know, they don't catch you because you cut their lines, right? So there's additional features that they have done. They have made a bunch of changes to 1.5. There are so many changes to 1.5 that it would take me literally half an hour reading and trying to explain them, trying to understand them all. I think most of us are just going to experience them by playing them. And of course, if you're watching this playthrough, that's a good way to learn as well, because I'll just be able to talk about them. So you can cut the lines. Also, I think their process of getting lines onto your ship has been improved. As my main character here, I got mangled. Corsairs are, you know, these guys aren't bad little units. I don't think this is a companion. I don't recognize this guy. Swinging his weapon as slow as he can. And of course, at this stage, we can probably just fast forward this battle. But there's a lot that has changed with 1.5. I think that's like an understatement. And we're just going to charge with everybody here. And I'm going to hit this button here. In fact, we'll just give you this view I think I can do. Because we should have relatively light losses. Although, honestly, it looks like they exterminated one of our boats and kind of pile-drived our army here, right? That's a good reason to fight a few battles here to sort of see what you got, right? It's almost like going to the gym. You don't just sit down and try to bench 225, right? You try 135 first, or if you don't go to the gym a lot, maybe you do 85. And we're having some delays here in the wrap up of this battle. Fortunately, we have this ultra fast mode here. So we're going to have to do quite a bit of battle on the water here to get good at what we're doing. The good news, though, is we're going to rack up skill points like crazy because, of course, a lot of the time I'm simply going to sit. Where are we getting that from? Are we getting that from taking prisoners? I'm not a roguery expert. I'm anything but a roguery expert. And I don't mean in-game. I mean like understanding the system. I don't know it that well. So we're continuing to learn, and a lot of guys enjoy enlightening my ignorance, right? I was going to say arrogance. That's not the right word. Try not to be arrogant about it, but I don't know that much about it, right? Which is, I guess, the opposite of arrogance. All right. Well, we want some Khazate units to fight, and now we've got some Corsair prisoners. I wouldn't mind some Sea Raiders too, and it'll be interesting comparing the two, although I don't know. I think Sea Raiders are rare in the northern, or in the southern sea, rather. I think it's mostly Corsairs. Of course, another big advantage of boats is we're going to be able to go up rivers and harangue Khazate merchant barges and stuff like that. There's going to be a host of different bonuses that come with being in the ocean. Also, huge forces, right? We're going to be able to carry much larger forces at sea, even though, again, we're still only using bandits, right? And I think we gained all of that in one battle. We gained 75 mariner skill, I'm pretty sure, in one battle. Let's see. Kind of a doesn't really matter kind of perk. Some of these are critical. Like I like this bottom one. We're going to use mostly swords. All right, that looks good. Come with us, Corsairs. And we won't, just like our other battles in this campaign, we won't subject you guys to endless Corsair battles, but having that last one be so ugly, let's try to fight an effective one here, right? That last battle, what do we have, like 40 or 50 casualties? Let's try to fight this intelligently where we can really minimize the casualties. Okay, those guys come with right away. So we're going to get tactical here. First boat, infantry, right? We've got that guy with the, at least he's got some good mariner perks. Bosun skills perks, I think. This perk list looks suspiciously small. I think this has changed, right? A lot of the perks that apply normally to battles outside of ships, they do still apply, but they don't apply this well, right? They don't apply to the maximum effect. In fact, when you look at perks now in game, a lot of times it basically it tells you, right? Doesn't is reduced at sea is the terminology I'm looking for here. It essentially tells you that the perks that you're using may not apply to full strength at sea. So let's we've got this infantry boat theoretically, but we also have a lot of skirmishers, and I think we have more archers, right? In fact, I'm confident we have more archers. Why? Because these are pirates. I don't think they have any archers, right? Unless I'm wrong. The Corsairs are just all sort of a monoculture unit, right? They have javelins, and that's what they have. So we've got the water gauge here. I think we just sail around these boys for a little while, throttling them with some flaming shit, and we should be able to win this battle with less casualties than 40. Although I could be wrong, right? The Corsairs are definitely, at this stage of a campaign, they're no joke, right? And I'm not sure our ballista here is my favorite. I have some of the guys stop rowing. And our boats, I'm noticing for sure, our boats are really clumsy, right? I'm having a hard time just turning this boat. Even with everybody on the oars originally, it was very clumsy. So we got to get used to our boat too, right? If we're going to be mounting this boat a lot, mounting this ballista, we want to get used to this process here. So I've told the first boat to charge, and what I'm hitting a lot is their ship. I don't know how much I gain. I don't think we're going to be able to sink their ship that way. I mean, we're setting the shit on fire. They should be struggling, but I'm only killing the occasional troop. Now, our guys are on board. They're getting boarded. So let's keep pounding this ship here. And we can tell all of our guys to stop using the oars, and what that'll do, of course, is all of our skirmishers here and archers, they're all working. Our other boat is behind us. So one boat in front, and that should be our infantry boat. Right? The advantage of that, obviously, is that there should be... These guys are still rowing over here. And I can't hit them. It's interesting. This is why I think a fire pot ballista is better. Even though I've drilled the boat like 10 times, the troops are actually kind of hard to hit with this ballista. Already, my mind is made up that a fire pot ballista is superior to this. And I don't think I'm going to be able to arc these over our other boat here. I'm trying to back up. I think we're going to hit our own boat here unless I'm careful. Or our own troops, at least. But it's probably worth it, because I just gained 3 points of Mariner skill here, right? So as long as I'm careful with my shots and time them, I think it's probably going to be pretty good results for us. So I might be way off, but I think this is probably going to be my most effective way to fight, at least until our character gains a little bit more Mariner skill. Becomes a little bit more deft at traversing the ocean. Yeah. And a bunch of the pirates obviously fell off their boat, right? You can see them jumping back on the rear of it. And let's try to drive our boat here towards the left. They're yelling and screaming. We sunk a boat, I think, or the damage we did earlier is causing them to sink. Seems like you should get a lot of EXP for sinking guys. And these guys literally, they're right in front of us. They're on our little flotilla, our little tiny ship with hardly any troops on it. Fight, lads. I need you guys to survive. Especially our force bandits, I'm concerned about, right? It's not going to be easy for us to acquire force bandits in this campaign. It will be once we can add bandits to our force here. Right? We're going to be able to add large amounts of bandits to our force. And let's hit this button. I think this battle should be over. All right, a lot better, right? A little bit more intentional with that battle. Good results, and I gained a heap of Mariner skill. So the snowball's already starting to roll a little bit. We can get some Corsairs eventually, and we've got to be getting close to 150 roguery, right? I keep looking over. Once we hit 150 roguery, we're going to wander around land and instantly have a maximum-sized army, right? We need only 3 more points. I'm also not going to put any more points to it. You do get little benefits like that, plus 10 bonus vigor to control skills. We should get to these skills anyways, right? We're going to be able to... I don't know what the cap is when you have 2 attribute and 5 focus, but it should be sizable, right? We should be able to... I don't think it lists the hard cap here, but if I remember right, it's like 170 or something like that, 180. It might even be with 5 focus points, and eventually I guess we can spare a focus point. It might be 200 something, right? So we're going to be able to get way out here without spending any points in cunning. And I don't think there's any point. You get more loot, I guess, but we don't need more loot. We're going to have unbelievable amounts of loot in this campaign, so... All right, well, I will break in, so to speak, or at least more accurately, I will either after edit narrating, or I will just be narrating live if we happen upon any significant forces here. Right now, though, it does look like we're just going to be beating the crap out of Corsairs. And look at this, there's even wreckages at water here. So our guys, glub, are looking around the ocean for debris. And I think it says we didn't find shit, which is... interesting. Now, 2 Corsair boats might actually be a problem for us. It'd be 6, 7. Oh shit! It'd be 6 or 8 Corsair, Corsair ships. That might be actually a real challenge for us. Now, I haven't seen anything larger than 60, but the word is that the pirates get bigger too. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe that's only Sea Raiders. Maybe that's at a later stage of the game. So it's going to be another thing for us to explore here in this campaign. But I don't think I'm going to carry you through each one of these battles here. So a little bit of editing and hopefully back to the next interesting point of this campaign. Charge. And we'll see what Uncwood does next. He's got a good-sized force and maybe our first opportunity here to fight something big. They just turned. That's never a comfortable feeling, right? When the AI outnumbers you and turns into you. We've got a bunch of scrubs at the bottom. We still got a core, though, at the top. That's a pretty good core to give this a shot. Our first major challenge in this campaign. Let's see what they got here. This is Aserai Lord, so there's going to be Aserai units, which is worrisome. And check this out. I don't know. We're recording, and make sure I show you the onslaught of the Khazate. There were 4 different locations they were sieging at once. There's a Khazate force sieging here, They already took Revolt, Drapan Castle, and Proven. So the Aserai, or the Valandians rather, are being born into, just savagely born into. Oh, look at that. I think this guy just changed his mind. That one force that we lost there was enough to make this guy run. So we chase, right? I don't know if we can catch him. I can't believe he's going that fast. We are going to catch him here, though. We go catch him. And Unquid is sieging, so he's kind of dragging us right to where we want to be anyways. Oh, shit. I misclicked. There's a siege there and a siege there. All right. If we ever catch this guy here, let's hold down this button. Let's catch this guy. Come on. And we've caught him. All right. Who are you, right? We barely outnumber him, or it's the other way around. He actually outnumbers us. We are recording now, and our first significant test here, although based on him running, right, we should be able to win this battle, but it's different with bandits. I can't send in my Huskarls and elite mariners. We hardly have any mariners. We have like 5 or 7 Huskarls, or excuse me, Corsairs, something like that. So your technique here has to be a little bit different, and I think we're going to continue to move that second boat up and basically have them play a shield. We can play the offensive role with our archers and ballista. There's fairly simplistic tactics that are available in shipboard battles when you have this few troops, right? They probably don't have ballistas. Don't think I've seen any ballistas yet. And right here, you take this second boat and basically just wedge it between you and the enemy. And then very slowly we will creep up on their left flank, right, to our right as we currently sit, if and when they board these guys. And these ballistas, man, they disappoint. And there's no doubt. These little grape shot ballistas or whatever they're called, these things suck. And you see all that damage? I didn't kill anybody. I think it's hitting the ship and not the troops, right? I hit 2 guys out of that whole mass of guys that I just sprayed with grape shot. It seems like it should be killing a lot more. Let's send that third boat in. There's a guy on a ballista looking at me. Let's kill their guy on the ballista for sure. And they're going to just rip up our poor infantry here. Our infantry is going to get bullied. They're getting absolutely triple boarded and throttled. Damn. There's a lot of Khazate. How many is this? It looks like it's 400. I'm going to stay right where I'm at here. This kind of range is perfect, right? We're like at 30 meters. Let's get everybody off the oars. Shoot those arrows. And those infantrymen are being shredded. It's almost better for me just to flame that mass of troops. There's so many attacking our poor infantry. It's probably my best shot, right? I did kill one of our guys, but killed a lot of the enemy right there. The archers here spraying us. Back up, lads. It's an incredible scene, but it's a lot less beautiful when you lose. Yeah, see all that damage? I didn't see a single death. It's like it hits the ship or the oars or something. Look at all that damage. All that worthless damage. It feels worthless. I got 2 more shots here. At least that one got a few kills. I got a guy on their ballista too. That is worrisome, to say the least. I think we'll pull away from that though. I got 1 shot left. And their other boat is boarding us there. No ballistas for you. Alright, let's see what we can do here with our boat alone. The guys are shooting. Let's get a few guys on the oars. We're at half power. Let's try to move past this boat. This 29 here, I would prefer they didn't board us. Let's try to get to the other side of this 40 directly in front of us here. I'm going to try to turn. That way we're kind of right in between these 2 ships. We're staying clear of that 27 for now. I don't think we're being boarded. Doesn't feel like it. We're moving. And so right here, and you don't want to board, right? It's very tempting to say board. I don't actually want to get boarded here, and it looks like we don't have a choice. At least we've got the height angle on these guys. Rain some javelins down on them. They got tons of archers spraying at us. You guys block, I kill. I don't know how long this is going to last. They're starting to board us on the other side. Let's get on their ship. Oh, and I missed. How do you get up now? Sometimes the little walkways are hard to find. I'll take my own here. Let's try working the flank here. My javelins, of course, are not breaking shields. I don't have the 250 javelin perk, so it's nip and tuck at this stage. Any javelins on this boat? It's razor tight. My own shield blocks it. I mean, they're helping us too, some, I guess. That's good. We got a lot of guys just standing here holding up their shield. A lot of skirmishers don't have ammo left. Let's He-Man this shit. Kill that berserker. Ah, shit, man. We're whiffing. At least we got a ladder here. Get up there. I can't see it. Can't reach it. I guess the waves are too high. It's like the waves are too high. There we go. I had to wait for a swell. There's a lot of archers shooting at us. It's weird. I thought we would have the ranged advantage. The enemy definitely has more archers than us. I'm getting sprayed. Charged, dudes. I got to get aggressive here. Can't see. They got the sun in their favor too. There's no javelins there. Here's a couple. Seems like we got a shot to win this still. It's razor tight. It reminds me of that scene, Gangs in New York. He's like, yeah, you don't want to fight. Why? You did so well. You should want to fight. They were winning this fight until our infantry stormed the boat. And I guess we just had a bunch of infantry that was left on our boat. I thought for sure our boat had more archers, and it sure doesn't look like that. I'm looking around. Okay, another boat just pulled up, and you guys are late to the party. I got somebody else's ballista here. Have some of this, you little peasant. Drill him with the cannonball. Alright, we got this shit. We're gonna fast forward. Good job, lads. Wasn't easy, but our first major sea battle in this campaign recorded. It's always good to capture stuff like that. And let's take a look at what's going down here in the south. There's a huge Asurite force, or excuse me, a huge Khazate force, and a large Asurite force, and we just hit Clan Tier 3. Welcome to more units. And this is beautiful here, right? Usually this means we're going to get some troops. We're doing people favors in this campaigns. We can't use them, but we'll take these board champions, though, right? Those troops we're allowed to use. And it's a tough requirement, right? All these free troops, and we're just going to say thanks, but no thanks. And obviously painful, but rules are rules. Take a few of these. They got a few minor clans here and there we can scoop up. We'll take militia, like, you know, if we're really desperate, but it's not going to be our baseline. All right, let's see what's going on here in the south. Let's see if there's any more ships on the way. Right? We've had some pretty good action. Corsair battles. We rescued a lord from a Corsair. He was being attacked by 2 different Corsairs. Probably won't show that battle because it was a blowout. We've got to be careful here, right? 30 troops, so we can get wrecked by, well, anything, right? At this stage, Corsairs kill us. All right, so let's see here. So we do have the Bandit perk, right? They will surrender, and we will get... Wait. I want the other one. I want that infantry speed, foot troop speed, right? Notice it says land only, right? These new adjustments. You're not getting that benefit at sea. So there's, you know, things have changed, and here we go. We get this, right? Arr. Now we can have surrendering units join our side, right? That's beautiful. Let's keep pushing our control. We got to get that 250 javelin perk there. And let's keep pushing our athleticism too. And as long as we don't get captured here, we're going to have a bunch of troops that can heal up, and you run, right? We get captured by 100 Corsairs. By the way, there are smaller little Corsair forces that are now present, and Unkwit's going to get captured here. What is Iacus? I'm trying to remember the layout to Iacus. I wonder if it's worth getting in there. There's 3 catapults. Man, that is tempting. It's going to be a while before we're ready to do anything because we have to heal. So let's just get to land and heal up, man. We have... I thought we have a good medicine skill. Oh, you know what? We're not using it. We've got this healer. Let's use her. All right, now we can heal up. I don't know if we showed when we brought her on board, right? And we run, right? There's a huge force coming. And it looks like they're joining there. All right, so let me think what I want to do here. We want... Well, I want some looters to appear, right? Because we can recruit looters. If looters all of a sudden pop up here, I can't get into the city with 60 troops. It's just not a thing. The good news is that siege takes forever now. They have 1,200. There's 400 defenders. Maybe when there's 200 defenders and they have 1,000, we could sneak in. But where's the looters, right? All of a sudden, as soon as we get these perks where we can add them to our army, there's no bandits anywhere? It's weird. Bad luck? Or maybe it's just the nature of the game, right? Here we go. We got a hideout here. They're down to 300 defenders. I think it takes too long, right? It takes forever for anybody to siege anything. And will these guys join us, right? Make sure we have this shit clicked. And there's a bunch of them. If they don't join us, we're going to get captured. Please don't capture us. Join us instead. We're going to have to isolate some of these, right? This is a horde. Here's where all the bandits are. There's thousands of them in here. Now, we might get a beautiful little snowball effect, right? They'll never take us alive, right? That means they're fighting. And I don't think they change their mind. Once they decide they're going to fight, they have to surrender to you before they will join, right? Basically, you have to overpower their force, which means that we're going to have a little bit of a springboard action here, right? If we can get these 30... Where'd he go? He gave up on it and ran away. Now, see, you'll never take us alive means these guys want to fight. I don't want them to fight, right? I want them to just surrender. And we can't do anything with that, right? It's just a horde of troops. Well, that buys me even more time here to think of something, right? We just need one of these bandits to join us. And what do we have going on here? Now, Unquid is coming back with 400. He might be able to counterattack that. We're going to have to watch that. 400. There's 1,000 sieging. They're going to have to build siege camps and stuff like that, right? Can we corner any of these guys? In my experience in the past, bandits surrendered more readily. I don't know if we can even catch this guy. We're going to have to pin him somehow. Get up against those rocks. Of course, the guys tell me you use the little arrow buttons in a situation like this, right? That way you can move more deftly. And it's really weird. None of these guys will surrender. I don't know why. Right? If they surrender, of course, then we've got a chance to pick these guys up. But if nobody surrenders, then that perk is worthless. In my experience in the past, most bandits surrender. And we need them to surrender right now, because if we had 300 troops, we attack here with Unquid, right? We could defend. I might even try to get into the city. And I just feel like I'm endlessly chasing looters that don't seem to want to surrender. Surrender. Shit. And I just botched that. Wait. Let's see if we can't do it again. Come on, man. This guy's running 100 miles an hour. How's he so fast? Because he's a little tiny force, I guess? They're starting to siege now. So I think we try to get in. I don't know. We've had bandit frustration here, to be sure. 224. I still think we have time. Our army is fully healthy, finally. 180. We've got fire catapults. Unquid should attack. Attack, you wussy. What a wuss. He's just going to stand there. And that's the AI taking... It takes no chances in a situation like this. To me, it's annoying. We're going to get in. You bitches can just watch. We're going to play the hero here. 161, 900. What am I looking at? They got 2 or 3 catapults here. It's not a good city to defend, right? And they got Lucan. They got other high-end troops here. But I still think this is worth their gamble. If we can get a hold of a fire catapult, if we can destroy some siege, even if we can make them rout once, Unquid and company here will probably counterattack, right? You would think. I don't know. They haven't yet. Bunch of weak asses. Early stages here, right? Normal thing. Get off the walls, line formation, follow me. Right? It's just a normal command that I give at the beginning of siege. We got walls there. We've got to figure out where the catapults are. Catapult, catapult. All right. Let's combine a few infantry divisions. Shit, they got their own counter siege. We don't have that many archers. We actually have more infantry than archers. But we should still be able to get them in good locations here. And now we get on one of these fire catapults. Out of the way, lads. You're slowing me down. Time is so important in a siege like this, right? If I can get onto these catapults a little bit faster. Here's a fire catapult, too. Give me this. Where's their towers? Damn, this tower's a long ways away. That tower is definitely not going to make it. There's a ram there. That must mean there's ladders over there. So let me think here. I think we try to smoke these troops on the ram in the short term. What you really want is you want a fire catapult above the gate. And there isn't one, right? There's a little rickety stone one flinging stones. Now, the good news is it's wounding the siege tower coming this way. The reason that's good news is that I don't have to focus on that siege tower as much, right? I'm trying to kill troops in the near term, which is great for power leveling, but also helps us win this siege. We're starting to get out of range of the ram. We could just try to destroy the ram, too. I don't know if I can hit it from here. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I can't hit it. Even on the lowest little setting here, we're missing. So, now we're trying to kill these guys over here. And this one, of course, we have to destroy, but you really want these guys to get close. And some catapults in some cities are horrendously designed. I don't know if you saw how far over the head of the catapult that shot went. It went sailing way over. Even these archers here, because our city's up high, the angles of these catapults, I can't hit anything. That catapult is literally worthless right now. So, what do, right? It's time to throw. And I don't think they're going to be in range here for a little bit. The ram's going to make it, but we're going to have a pretty good fight at the gate. It's this one I'm concerned about. Not only do I have to destroy this siege tower, but I've got to maul these troops, right? They're starting to curve towards us. In fact, you can see the little ramp. I'm so tall, I almost get shot standing right here. You can see where this thing is coming. Should be able to hit it pretty easily. Yeah, boom, hit the top of it. Not just that, I can see from my angle here, I can hit these troops from here. It's almost a good thing. It is a good thing that this ram, or that this fire catapult can't shoot, because I can literally melt this whole side over here. That's just kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Just mass destruction levels. And it will only take one more shot for this tower to go down, right? So right here, you just aim for the top of the tower. It's probably going to hit troops and the tower. The tower hasn't gone down yet. It's close, though, right? And even if it doesn't go down, right, the enemy has been throttled on this tower. I can't believe the tower hasn't gone down. There goes. Finally, a bunch of rubble explodes everywhere. So we destroyed that side. Right? They got mangled. All right, so archers are there. We got a square at the gate. That looks pretty good. What I want, of course, is to throw as many of these inside the gatehouse, right? Fire away. We'll let Unquid watch, right? He can watch as his best future lieutenant and commander kills everything in sight. We're going to smash these guys with rocks. Now, the siege is hardly over, right? We got Bootlickers starting to throw the rocks now. Hate that, right? Because they take horrible shots. They'll bounce them off the walls and shit. I like that it's built into the system, right? It's a good feature that the AI tries to throw the rocks, but man, are they bad about it. They like wet the bed and run all over the place. Now this catapult, not much use. And our square, keep in mind, is not going to be this resolute high infantry square, right? What is it? I got guys with no shirts. So we're going to have to really take advantage of these other troops. In fact, let's not do a square here. Let's do a shield wall. That way those guys... I've completely forgot about this side too. We've got to get more archers over here. There's a little line of weak-ass militia fighting tough troops over here. In fact, this looks like their best troops. Let's bring over even more firepower here. We can get some good archers here. These guys ought to be able to do a pretty good job, but man, we're being rained on. And these are very powerful troops. Let's steal some of this first division. We've got to have some troops over here to fight these guys. Archer should be in place soon. And this is why you got to have that perk. And I'm one battle late here. And infantry division's coming. Target the dangerous units first, right? Charge. Let's get this 6th division freaking right on these guys, so that way these shots are point blank for our archers at least. They'll do major damage. Of course, I've got to keep an eye on the gate. Let's try to salvage some javelins here if we can. Our archers should do most of the work in the short term. The gate is concerning. Let's get these guys even more on the side of the enemy, right? That way they're shooting them in the back as they try to attack these guys. The gate's at 27. How many are attacking it? That's the question. A horde. And of course, you're just not a beast character at this stage of a campaign. We're low level. We're trying to hold them back here with not much. Now, what the hell are you guys doing? Get up there. Got to keep these archers out of the maelstrom here. That looks pretty good over there. Can't let the enemy pour in here, right? This square is the only reason that's not happening. In order to make sure that doesn't happen, right? Even if you got to bring troops here. Oh, I was going to say, man, even if we got to bring troops here, that's what we got to do. And you cut down as many as you can here. Not only are we getting influence, but, well, it doesn't actually matter. These forces now are going to get attacked by, after we defended the city to the death, Unquid now is finally going to be like, oh, I guess we should attack. Yes, you should, you weak-ass Sultan. We're going to take his job for sure. All right. We've got Aserai help. I guess that's enough farming for my character. Look at athleticism, 298, just like that. Oh, beautiful. 48 casualties, only 8 deaths, 500 kills, right? The glory of siege assault, or siege defense in Bannerlord is still profound. Now, we're going to get robbed of loot and gold and a bunch of other stuff. I don't think we're... I don't think we're using the Jarl's mods here. If we get loot right here, you'll know we're using it. Let's see. Oh, we are. It still works, too. How sweet is this? So, this is how it should be. We don't get pillage from this siege, but we get a bunch of loot. And those people who feel really robbed of the loot before the changes that were made to 1.4, well, that's now been restored with that mod. Now, we want to sally out here, even though this battle is obviously over. In fact, there is no battle. They just surrender. And beautiful. We'll take these prisoners here. And we're still recording. I think it's probably a good spot to conclude episode 3 right here. We had some good naval battles in this episode. We're able to rescue this city from a savage Khazate force. We made ourselves look good in front of the Sultan. There's 3 defenders left. Look at this guy. I've never seen that one. Empty pockets. What do you do?
What do you want, stranger?
He's a shipboard dude. Huh? You know, he's got kind of a nice skill set, but I don't really want roguery. Actually, I'm trying to wonder how that works. You know what? Let's pick them up. I don't know how that works. Can your companion armies pick up bandits for free? I guess we're going to find out. Join us. We like a bald guy, right? A bald guy's sexy. All right. And... No, we'll take care of the lepers here. All right, plenty of money. We're doing pretty well in this campaign. And victory, right? Most importantly, have avoided that calamitous failure so far in this campaign. Now, it sure looks like a sea of blue. The Khazate are absolutely worse than the other campaign we're playing. Absolutely blowing up everything. And I mean everything. The Nords are probably gone or almost gone. the Vlandians, the Western Empire. It really does look like there's 4 kingdoms left. I don't think I've ever been in a situation that felt this hopeless, and I love it. Bring it. Khazad, I menu, right? We're going to have a savage Bedouin revolt here very soon. We're going to start recruiting bandits left and right, and hopefully we can grab these Khazate overlords by with our bandit fists by the throat and teach them a good lesson in this campaign. It's going to be fun. That just made our character badass overnight. And of course, if you want to join us for that journey, now's your time to subscribe. Thanks for watching, friends. Hit that like button, please, and I will see you, friends, next time. Probably do better for influence. With that kind of influence payment, right? We'll get so much money. We don't donate troops to the garrison, but we're definitely donating prisoners. We're not, these other prisoners we can't use, right? This is massive money. We're getting 600 per influence, right? So that's 10,000. Seems like impossible, but no, that's right. That's 10,000. And we want to make sure we don't give up our bandits here. Bandits are going to be, you know, they're going to be precious prisoners. Of course, we're also going to start getting lots of bandits for free. And, you know, in the short term, we'll keep some militia prisoners. You never know when you need an extra 12 troops for a battle. Sometimes it's handy to have a few of those guys. 37 influence. Tasty. The equipment is still bad, but of course that happens a lot of times when you're a very early campaign. Right? This campaign is like 90 days in. The years have blown by, but you have to remember we're using fast mode, so it's very misleading. Can dump some food on the peasants, and we're just an all-around superstar in this episode, right? We're feeding the poor, we're saving the city. We're charging when Unquid sits back. That's right, you bitches. You just sit back. We'll do it all. And now let's go actually see if we can't get some bandits to join us. That was alarming that no bandits would join us. Corsairs should join us too, right? Like if we have enough forces, a strong enough force, I don't know why Corsairs wouldn't join us as well. But they got to surrender first, right? If they feel like they have a chance to win, they won't surrender. But we shall see. Jeez, dude, get off of her. She just gave birth. And these guys, I don't think they'll surrender. If they will surrender, it's going to look hilarious, right? 230 surrender to us. Surrender.